Ugh. You know that feeling, right? Like when something just starts to feel familiar in a bad way,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, oh no, here we go again.
Totally.
That's how it is for so many people dealing with recurring infections.
Yeah.
And, one we don't often talk about, but it's so common, is bacterial vaginosis.
BV. It's incredibly common. We're talking almost a third of women in the U.S. experience this.
Wow.
And for over half of them, it keeps coming back.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
And the conversation around BV has always been centered around women's health.
Right.
That delicate balance of the vaginal microbiome.
Mm.
But what if the reason it keeps coming back has been misunderstood this whole time?
That's a really interesting question.
Like, what if we've been missing a big piece of the puzzle?
Well, that's exactly what some new research is suggesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's really challenging a lot of what we thought we knew about BV. And it could change how we treat it.
Okay, so that's what we're diving into today. This new research that suggests recurring BV might be coming from somewhere we haven't really considered before.
Right.
And we're going to be looking at a news article that talks all about this.
Perfect.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What's the traditional understanding of DV?
Okay, so traditionally, BV has been seen as kind of a disruption of the vaginal ecosystem.
Okay.
So unlike, an STI like chlamydia or gonorrhea, which are caused by one specific bacteria,
Right.
BV, it's more about an imbalance in the bacteria that are already there.
I see.
So you have certain types of bacteria that thrive without oxygen. Those are called anaerobic bacteria.
Okay.
And one of those is Gardnerella, and it becomes too dominant.
Mhm.
At the same time, the good bacteria, the lactobacillus species,
Yeah.
which are really important for a healthy vagina,
Hmm.
they decrease.
So it's less about catching something new and more about the existing bacteria getting out of whack.
Exactly.
Gotcha. But then why does it keep coming back, especially if we're only treating the woman?
That's a great question. And to be honest, it's been a mystery for a while.
Yeah, it's like we're only dealing with half the problem.
Right.
Like, what about the other half?
Well, actually, in the medical community, we've been treating BV as transmissible in same-sex female couples for a while now.
Really?
Yeah, there are studies going back to the 80s that show a really high concordance rate for BV in these couples.
Meaning?
Meaning, if one partner has BV, the other is very likely to have it as well.
Oh.
We're talking like 80% in monogamous lesbian couples.
80%.
Yeah, it's a huge connection.
Yeah.
And there was even one study that found lesbian couples had a nearly 20% higher rate of BV compared to the general population in Australia.
Wow.
And what's really interesting is that these studies also found that when monogamous same-sex couples joined the study without BV, they tended to stay BV-free.
Interesting.
So it really suggests that it's being transmitted between partners.
Okay, so that makes total sense. And I guess it leads to the question that Katrina Bradshaw, one of the researchers in this new study, asked. She basically said, well, if it's clearly being transmitted between women, why wouldn't it be transmitted between men and women?
Yeah, it seems obvious when you put it like that.
Right.
And that's the question that led to this new research.
Okay, so tell me about this study.
Okay, so this study was done by Katrina Bradshaw and Lenka Vostrusel from the Melbourne Sexual Health Center at Monash University.
Okay.
And they were directly looking at this idea of heterosexual transmission.
So what exactly were they testing?
Their main hypothesis was that BV can be sexually transmitted between heterosexual partners.
Okay.
Now, it's important to say that other studies have tried treating male partners before,
Mm-hmm.
but those studies didn't really show any improvement in reducing BV recurrence in women.
So what was different about this study?
The big difference was how they treated the male partners.
Okay.
So the women in the study got the usual oral antibiotics.
Right.
But the male partners were also treated with a topical antibiotic, clindamycin,
Okay.
which they applied directly to the penis.
Interesting. So they treated the potential source of the bacteria directly.
Exactly. It was a totally different approach.
And what were the results?
The results were really impressive.
Yeah, the article kind of hinted that they were pretty big.
Yeah. So after a week of treatment and regular testing over the next 12 weeks, they found that the BV recurrence rate in women whose partners used the topical clindamycin was almost 50% lower than the control group.
Hold on, almost 50% lower?
Yeah.
So just by treating the male partner,
Right.
that's huge.
It's a massive difference.
Wow.
It was actually so significant that the Data and Safety Monitoring Board, which is the group that makes sure clinical trials are ethical and the results are valid, they recommended stopping the trial early
Yeah.
because the results were so clearly in favor of the treatment group.
Wow, they must have been pretty excited about that.
Oh, yeah. As Lenka Vostrusel said, it meant that they were really showing a strong effect of male partner treatment.
So this idea that BV might be sexually transmitted, it's not totally new, is it?
No, it's not a completely new idea.
Okay.
David Fredericks, who's a clinician and microbiologist at the University of Washington, he said there have been suspicions for a while that BV could be sexually transmissible.
Right.
Just based on things like, the increased risk with more sexual partners and unprotected sex.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, as he also said, previous attempts to prove that treating male partners helped haven't really worked.
Mm-hmm.
This study seems to have gotten over those hurdles by using this very specific treatment.
Okay. And there were some other interesting findings in the study, right? Something about circumcision.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the study found that couples with uncircumcised male partners had higher rates of BV recurrence.
Huh. Interesting.
We don't fully understand why that is yet, but it adds another layer to the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And the article also stressed how important it is for both partners to stick to the treatment plan.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it takes two to tango, right?
Exactly. The study showed that when both partners followed the treatment, they got much better results.
So it really is a team effort.
It is.
So if all this turns out to be true, what does it mean for how we treat BV in the future?
Right. Because as the article said, the current way we treat it can be really frustrating for people who keep getting it.
Yeah, dealing with that over and over again, it must be so discouraging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now, the standard treatment for BV is usually a short course of antibiotics, usually vaginally.
Okay.
But because it comes back so often, a lot of times people need longer suppressive therapies.
Like how long?
Sometimes up to 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, according to Tracy Curser from Northwestern Medicine.
Wow, so it's just this constant cycle of treatment and then it comes back.
Exactly, and that can really affect someone's quality of life.
Yeah, for sure. But this new research could change all that, at least for monogamous heterosexual couples.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Okay.
It could change how we treat BV. Instead of just treating the woman, we could start treating the male partner too.
That makes a lot of sense.
David Fredericks even mentioned that his own institution, the University of Washington, is already thinking about changing their policies based on this research.
So that's a really positive step.
Yeah, it shows how much of an impact this could have.
But I imagine it might be tough to get male partners on board with treatment, especially since the article said they don't usually have any symptoms.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, why would they think they need treatment if they feel fine?
Right. Lenka Vostrusel talked about that.
Yeah.
She said because men usually don't have symptoms, it can be hard to make them feel like they have a role to play.
I can see that.
But her message is that men can now be part of the solution.
And I think that's really important, this shift from putting all the responsibility on the woman to making it a shared responsibility.
Absolutely. It's about working together.
Okay, so this study shows that BV in heterosexual couples is likely sexually transmitted and that treating male partners can really help.
Right?
But there's still more research to be done.
Yes, definitely.
Like, what's the best antibiotic to use for men? How long should they be treated? Things like that.
Exactly. We need to figure out the best way to treat men so we can finally break this cycle of BV recurrence.
So to sum all this up for our listeners,
we now have strong evidence that BV in heterosexual couples is probably sexually transmitted.
Okay.
And that means we need to change how we think about and treat this very common condition.
Instead of just focusing on the woman, we need to include her male partner in the treatment.
Exactly.
And this could be life-changing for people who have been struggling with BV for years.
Absolutely. It gives them real hope for the future.
Yeah, it shows how important it is to think about both partners when dealing with BV.
Right. It's not just a woman's problem.
You know, this whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
It has.
It makes you realize that even conditions we think we know a lot about can still surprise us.
Yeah.
Like if we're just now realizing that BV is likely sexually transmitted in heterosexual couples, what else are we missing?
That's a great question.
Like what other common health issues might be connected in ways we haven't even thought of?
It makes you wonder what other discoveries are out there waiting for us.
It definitely gives you something to think about.
It does.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.